Hi and welcome to AXSchat. We're delighted to have Nabil Eid with us today. Nabil is actually joining us from Syria to talk about his work there, helping people with disabilities, furthering the cause of accessibility. It's amazing to hear about the work of Telecentre, and equally amazing that you're able to join us given the terrible circumstances in which you're caught up in Syria. So thank you, Nabil. It's great to have you join us, and it's a privilege for us to have you on here because we're delighted to have you as a supporter of AXSchat, and you join us every week. So it's great to finally meet you and chat with you. So can you tell us a bit about your work for Telecentre, please?
Yeah. At first, it's a great pleasure to be here. I'm very glad of the opportunity to feature me in Access Chat. It gives me much pleasure. Thank you so much for your efforts in advancing the community of disability and accessibility in the world. I'm working in the disability field for more than 20 years. In practical, I began in 1991 after graduating from college engineering in Syria and established the first ICT center for training students. In 1993, I developed the first training curriculum for students with hearing impairment. The age of students from 7 to 11 years, culture and education of information communication technology was not now well in that period of time. Families, parents came to the center, combined their children with hearing disability. Number was 12 students, 7 young girls and 5 adults. They came to discuss with them how to teach their children on IT visit, on the computer application to benefit them. Well, the fact at the beginning I was surprised. Teaching children with hearing impaired on computer, I think, is a good and useful test for the children. And I'm in front of a very difficult exam. So first, I will learn sign language to communicate with them. Indeed, in short period, I learned sign language from them and from their parents. Then started to teach them to work on typing, drawing, open program, application development, their IT skills. My happiness has been a very big positive to the result when touched in the speed of teach them. The training succeeds. So I present the summary of this training in conference, and the training was the first initiative for education of the students with hearing impaired in the Arab region using ICT. After that, I put first dictionary. ICT termed as sign language, specialized to deal with students through command, menu, tools, communicate with my student. 1997, girls with blind came to my center. She was preparing to PhD doctorate in literature. She asked me about the possibility for her teaching or find special software to help her follow and continue reading without the need for a human reader. She suffers from too many problems in this matter, given the lack of time other people for reading and help her. The fact there was a problem in that period, 1997, to the lack of the screen reader and OCR programs in Arabic. But I had a demo version of a Dragon System program, but in English. I could through this program made modification for shortcut keys and create macros to work with open list menu option of Microsoft word processors in Arabic. From here, it was born the idea to build an application based on phonetic spelling as speech recognition for the student with blind through the analysis and record of the Arabic characters by creating algorithm as a special dictionary search for Arabic vocabulary. Project was stopped for lack of support in this for this idea in our region. 2005, it was communicated with the United Nations and Development Program in Syria and Ministry of Communication and Technology through Project ICT for Development. Get started the implementation of the first Syrian initiative in the Arab region through UNDP. اقتدار Program Information and Communication Technology for Development. And by ICTAR project, ICT for the Blind Information and Communication Technology in the Arab region to help visually impaired in their skills and rehabilitation and enabling them to access internet learn and get new job opportunities where we were provide and have got OCR, reader, braille, printer and digital library. Then I trained more than 55 blind from Salami city and its rural area. After that worked to promote the project to cover different parts of Syria. Success of the project has given me opportunity to attend and present the role of ICT training for people with blind and visually impaired in World Summit Information Society, which was held in Tunis 2005. 2006, I prepared a new Arabic book and a new software program. The program was the first in Arabic as Smart Learning for students with intellectual disability. New as during my deep investigation, I did not find any similar work in the MENA region. There were simple trainings by special educators were simply using the traditional teaching method and some were using PowerPoint to present their materials. But this program focused on approach to communicate in a way of listening, look, think, then answer to develop tutorial-based system to enhance the communication capabilities of children with mild intellectual and learning disability. Implementation of proven teaching method in area of listening, identifying, naming, matching, auditory processing, memory enhancement, reading, and vocabulary. Number of children who need special education is increased dramatically in the whole world and especially in the Arab region. So the program aims to provide children with autism, Down syndrome, learning disability and the age between 5-12 years. Applied this program in many countries such as Syria, Sultanate of Oman and Lebanon. 2006, I launched the first Assistive Technology Centers for the training all students, visually, intellectual, learning disability, mobility, and hearing impairment on ICT education skills. Netherlands Embassy in Syria gave us a grant to provide the center with the necessary ICT tools for training of all students with all kinds of disability within the center. 2007, I worked with the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia on development of strategies for the establishment of community centers as telecenters, access point centers, especially for people with disability. The project covers 7 Arab countries: Syria, Egypt, Yemen, Lebanon, Sudan, Jordan, and Iraq. Since uh, 2010, I'm working with Telecenters Foundation as a Middle East specialist and ICT professionals consultant for uh, MENA, for MENA region. Also, ICT Accessibility consultant for the organization with regard to accessibility and ICT development of personal disability.
Nabil, it's Neil again. So Telecentre is a multinational organization, right? It's in hundreds of countries.
Yeah,
So what you've done is you've grown something from a tiny little seed into something quite enormous, and joined up with all of these other organizations. I think it's an amazing achievement, and you've grown from, by the sounds of it, one disability to encompassing everything. One question I've got for you is, you mentioned the countries in the region that you're working in. One obvious country that wasn't on the list was Qatar, because Qatar, I know, is also doing some work in this space. Do Telecentre and the Namada Centre ever work together?
yes, yes. For telecenters, now telecenters as a global organization that enables the effective collaboration, knowledge sharing, empower communities, training, and bridge about positive change. Uh, uh, Based in the Center Foundation, and we have a six regional network over the world. This regional network working for sustainable change through ICT for millions of people around the world, including persons with disability. And ensuring individuals that community, and most especially women, and support for women, girls, youth, and now also we are working to support girls with disability, and I wrote a action plan submitted to ITU. Maybe this initiative will be uh, about digital literacy for girls with disabilities, uh, to promote this initiative in all our telecenters spread over the world.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, given that the people with disabilities are generally excluded from access, and women with disabilities are even more excluded, you really are targeting the hardest to reach groups, and that's fantastic. Deborah, do you have a question?
I do. I had muted just so that the background in the library doesn't disturb the chat. But Nabil, as Neil said, we are very honored to have you on AXSchat, and we continue to pray for you and all of the good work that you're doing. So we just are really glad that you're here and how much you participate with AXSchat. You always add value. I've always been very impressed with everything that you've been able to achieve. And I think a lot of people don't realize the work that you're doing to help all the different countries. Have you been able, with the work that you're doing with the assistive technology and preparing these individuals with disabilities to have education, have you gotten involved in employment at all with the work that you've been doing in the telecenters?
Yeah, I cannot hear.
You can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you please write the question? I cannot hear.
Yeah, okay. Can you hear me better? So Deborah was asking, have you done work in
Ah,
with employment?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Now we are preparing all person with disability on training to get employment. We're training them about some courses training for example, training on digital literacy, training people on graphic design, training on development of website. Uh, we can now preparing them to get opportunity. For blind, I trained more trainees, the blind that now they are working in workplace and they can get job opportunities and uh, uh, plan for employment to that. Yeah.
I Nabil, uh, I would like to know in the sequence of Deborah's question, I would like to ask if you have done any type of work with employers and help them to provide support for employees with disabilities.
Yes.
And can you explain us a little bit of that work?
Please, could you please write
Yes.
the
So
question? I cannot.
right. So have you been working to help employers?
Yes,
Uh,
yes,
and what have you been doing to help the employers understand the needs of people with disabilities?
yes, yes, yes. As I mentioned, uh, we now can put or set action plan for to set action plan for our training employer.
Okay.
Yeah. I can. You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. So you have a training program for employers.
Ah, yes. Uh,
Um,
now, now, training program for employers. Yes, yes. I work and prepare that I teach. Prepare that, and a lot of students with disability, blind and physical disability now, training them on software programs such as I mentioned, graphic design and programming and now typing. Uh, so when they can get good training through our telecenter, we can give them certificate, and we can also promote uh, uh, to get job opportunities in marketplace and work. Now I think about 12 students from our telecenter now in our workplace, and I can follow them from time to time to review and get feedback from employees. Uh, they are so happy now to get job opportunities in their workplace. Yeah.
and do Deborah, go for it.
I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. And since I'm so difficult to be heard, I'm going to type in my question to Nabil so that he can hear what I'm saying. But so 12 people have been employed, and it looks like you're providing job coaching to help the individual with disability and the employer be successful. I am wondering, how has the United Nations helped the efforts that you're doing, and what can the world do to help the efforts that you are making in Syria and in the MENA region?
Yeah. For UN now, I am working with ITU as a consultant uh, to preparing a manual for conducting and accessible event and making accessibility real. Yeah. Uh, ITU currently with ITU Arab Regional Office and the WHO organization are through regional initiatives ICT for persons with disability, working now on preparing manual for person with disability in meeting, workshop, conference, and training courses. This manual is a part of international telecommunication effort to facilitate the implementation of the manual to guide Arab regional organizations through the ITU Arab Region Initiative on ICT Accessibility. But uh, now the aim of this manual for conduct accessibility event and meeting. Uh, as you know, in Arab region there are some barriers and challenge for this matter, but we hope to get support or other support from uh, uh, from organizations and in MENA region. As you know, totally almost 55 million persons with disability in the Middle East. For the Arab region, the key barriers is lack of ICT accessibility, lack of access to ICT accessibility. This barriers requires the collaboration of the main stakeholders involved in each sector, as well concrete action to be undertaken by each group of stakeholders and relevant indicator to monitor progress. Some of this challenge in Arab states limited financial for research and deployment on accessible ICT and AT solution, and inadequate governance financial infrastructure for effective implementation service. Also, lack of specialized teacher training, limited flexibility in training, also lack challenge in native language, limited availability of specialized hardware and software resources, lack of focusing on find employment for persons with disability. There are a lot of programs in Arab country, but lack access to appropriate Arab content. So we lost a link with them to develop research and programs that benefit persons with disability. Also, negative attitudes and concept develop among some of the person. Exclusion from basic services in some part of the society. But now there are successful initiatives in Arab region on ICT for persons with disability, for example, in Qatar, Egypt, Tunis, and United Arab Emirates. This initiative needs to be supported from government, public, private sector, and organization to reach the best level such as other countries. For example, MENA in Qatar is working at national, regional, and international level. Great effort from Team MENA for promoting accessibility in Qatar. Also, Dubai yesterday launched the disability strategy about strategy on becoming friendly 2020. Saudi Arabia have also a good initiatives in supporting disabilities. We need more support. Really, in MENA region, we need more support also to ensure inclusion and integration of persons with disability, more promoting about the importance of accessibility, assistive technology. Some societies in the Arab region now focusing on disability rather than on abilities. So we need to change this trend. I asked about more support, working on more awareness, more rising awareness in Arab regions to develop and support the program, especially in ICT accessibility in MENA region.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nabil, let me ask you, what has been, no, you are talking about support. What has been the role of universities to support those efforts?
Yes, university now can play a vital role by support research. Uh, Support research and support case studies. University can also support incubator, small business, and put research for planning to building incubator, ICT incubator for supporting person with disability. University can do more for that. So the relationship between university and uh, government, private sector, public sector joint to promote for more research in to support also to support Arabic content and program in Arabic and translate to uh, now I uh, conduct with university in MENA region in and prepare to set action plan and papers. I have a lot book in assistive technology and program for intellectual disability. Maybe in the future can make collaboration with university to support this program and promote content in Arabic for this segment from disability. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We've reached the end of our half hour. It's been great talking to you and finding out about all of the work that you're doing. I'm very hopeful that there is going to be accelerated work on improving assistive technology for the MENA region. From what I can see, there are a lot of universities, even in the UK, that are working on topics like this. So I'm hopeful for the future. It needs more people like you contributing, obviously. So thank you very much for taking the time, and apologies for the pretty poor connection today with the sound. I think it's just down to the joys of being on the internet. So thank you very much once again, Nabil.
Thank you very much for you. Thank you.